You know, this might sound a little bit crazy at first, but I actually think the Kingdom Hearts franchise has lost something kind of important in recent years, some of its secret sauce, due to a lack of major spin-offs. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, because for years, the dialogue around the various Kingdom Hearts spin-offs has been very focused on how they make the series more impenetrable. Not just because the story got more and more complicated, but because for a while there, it was difficult to actually get at all of the games because they were spread out across so many different pieces of hardware. But see, I'm actually going to make an argument that spin-offs like Chain of Memories and Days and Birth by Sleep, and maybe even a little bit Coded, maybe even just a little bit, we're actually doing an important job of bringing more people into the series, of attracting new users who might not have otherwise gotten into the franchise. Kingdom Hearts 3 did attract a lot of new users because, you know, it was a big, heavily promoted video game, and in some ways it kind of had a meme quality to it, a Half-Life 3 confirmed, oh my god, they're actually making Kingdom Hearts 3, well, I'll just go buy this for the hell of it. And certainly some people played Kingdom Hearts 3, enjoyed it, and that was enough to get them to turn around and go play the rest of the series. But for a lot of people, Kingdom Hearts 3 was kind of an impenetrable mess because it was the conclusion of like 8 other games, or at least a story arc that had been built up across 8 other games. My point is not to suggest that Kingdom Hearts 3 did not generate new fans. My point is simply to suggest that Kingdom Hearts 3 was not constructed as an easy onboarding point for new customers to be attracted and made into loyal fans of the series. And even if Kingdom Hearts 3 had been designed as a great onboarding point, you have a very vocal fan base telling people to not start there. And I'm not even going to make any accusations of gatekeeping here. Some of that does go on in the Kingdom Hearts fan base, but I'm going to say, charitably, that a lot of people are trying their best to actually help inform people and help them make educated decisions by going, hey, listen, don't start here. There's a collection that has everything. Just play them in release order. And I mean, you know, I don't think anybody's doing this necessarily to be elitist. I think they think they're helping. But the fact of the matter is, most people out there, most normal people, see a trailer for a movie or a video game or whatever and think, oh, that looks neat. Perhaps I'll try it. They're not looking for a homework assignment. Yes, it's great that the entire Kingdom Hearts series can now be consumed relatively easily, and indeed, relatively cheaply now. I've said before, and I will say again, that the Kingdom Hearts All-in-One collection, or even the Kingdom Hearts Story So Far collection, either of these are some of the best, package deals in gaming that you can get. And they go on sale really often for fairly cheap, considering how many full, real-ass video games exist in these collections. But the fact is that asking people to go through all of that is still kind of a big ask. It's all well and good to tell people, hey, start with Kingdom Hearts 1, play linearly from there, but we're also basically telling people who are interested in a game to go and do a month or two of homework. The time investment cost of buying into the Kingdom Hearts series is really high now. We no longer have isolated Chain of Memories or Days or Birth by Sleep adventures to, go, hey, kids, you've heard about your friends who have a PlayStation 2 talking about this cool Kingdom Hearts series? Well, hey, you may not have a PlayStation, but here's an isolated little adventure that's on the system of your choice that you can maybe check out and see what your friends are see what your friends are into. And games like Missing Link, or Melody of Memory, but we're mainly here to talk about Missing Link today, are not really fulfilling that need. And yes, I would argue that it's a need, not necessarily for me. I'm not making the Kingdom Hearts franchise, but my point is it's a need to attract more people to the franchise. If you're going to spend more money making video games, you need more people to come in and buy the new one than the last one. Kingdom Hearts 4, at least hypothetically, is shaping up to be kind of a clean slate, fresh start for the series. I'm sure there are going to be a heck of a lot of references and lore and backstory that the game is going to expect you to be able to keep up with, but at some level, it's kind of a hard reset for everything. We're putting the characters in new locations, dealing with new situations. Kingdom Hearts 4, in theory, is going to be a nice jumping on point for new fans. And Tetsuya Nomura has even commented about a hypothetical spinoff he would want to make in the future about the Verum Rex stuff specifically. There was an interview back when they unveiled Kingdom Hearts 4 where he basically said, for a while I debated between doing Kingdom Hearts 4 first or doing Verum Rex first. Presumably, Verum Rex is going to be very standalone. Also remains to be seen how much it actually has to do with the rest of Kingdom Hearts, and if that would be something that would get people to go and play the rest of the series. We're talking in major hypotheticals for games we don't even know that much about yet. One game that isn't even confirmed and might not even come to pass and exist in the future. But I'm just saying there is, I'm talking a little bit about the future, because I do think, all this whole conversation's about the future. But here's the thing. I know people who got into Kingdom Hearts because of the spin-offs, because they heard their friends talking about the series, or they read about it in gaming magazines or whatever, but they didn't have a PlayStation 2, and so there were other avenues for them to get into the series through. I know these people because I'm one of them. I mean, I also know other people who aren't me, but myself in particular, I didn't own a PlayStation 2 for years. I played Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance after perusing a couple of cutscenes on the internet and hearing about the series from other people. And much the same thing happened for other people with Days and Birth by Sleep. And I know that may sound like an odd thing to say, to a hardcore Kingdom Hearts fan who is aware of how much those games tie in with the overall narrative thread of the entire series. But the fact of the matter is that, at least originally, those games kind of played like little independent standalone adventures. Sure, if you played Days and you didn't know what was going on in the rest of the series, some of the out there lore concepts might have taken you a minute to catch up with, or you might not have figured it out at all. But like the character drama stuff that the game was primarily about, the actual events of that plot were self-contained, more or less. And at the time, it didn't even necessarily feel like that game was going to be much more than essentially one isolated story in the Kingdom Hearts universe, because all of the characters involved in the story were dead. In theory. Same kind of goes for Birth by Sleep. Obviously, it wound up having major long-term narrative implications for the rest of the series, but they displaced themselves in time from the rest of the story so they could tell a new story with new characters who have a new starting point and a new ending point. And this whole little self-contained thing. I think that's neat. In some ways, I think it's a little limiting for this series to zero in on a bunch of people involved in exactly one story. There's room for this to be a little bit bigger. But Jacob, I hear you asking from beyond the veil, what about the mobile phone game stuff? You mean the gotcha whale bait stuff that's exclusively for fans who are already totally bought in? Games like Fate Grand Order, Fire Emblem Heroes, Kingdom Hearts Key... Union Cross, there was a third name for it that I don't remember right now, or Missing Link. These are not games designed to expand the brand and attract new users. These are games designed to wring every possible dime out of already financially invested fans. Well, except on that note, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. I'm gonna sneeze. Kingdom Hearts Missing Link is an odd case to me because it has about it the air of the expected whale-attracting, cash-extracting game built primarily to fleece money out of the hardcore pre-existing audience, but it's also doing some weird stuff by the standards of games in that genre. This is a 3D action game for your phone, which requires you to have your GPS on even when you are playing from the comfort of your home, which is where I expect you'll have to play it most of the time because I imagine this game won't be too kind to a phone's battery. Further consider the official trailer for Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. Consider what the game has to say for itself to try and convince you why it's fun. GPS action RPG. All right, what does that mean? A journey filled with new experiences and encounters. Bro's never heard of a video game before. Travel the world without stepping outside. Bro's never heard of a video game before. It certainly seems like Missing Link is kind of struggling to tell you what is so fun about itself, mainly because it's not concerned so much with selling itself because its audience is already bought all the way in. But why spend this much money on it is the question. Union Cross was a cheapo browser game ported to phones. They didn't need to spend money on it because it made money anyway. They didn't need to invest heavily in it because it was doing its job while being a cheap-to-maintain thing. I'm sure its player base dwindled dramatically over time, but that hardly mattered. They weren't spending much cash, and they only needed to retain whales. That's how these games work. But then why with Missing Link did they spend so much cash developing something that is not necessarily going to attract new users? And I'm not referring to the fact that it's a okay-looking, visually 3D action game on phones. That's not that crazy difficult to do anymore. Certainly still, you'd think they could have gone even cheaper. It's nice that they decided to invest a little bit more time and energy into this one. But no, I'm talking about the ARG elements. I'm talking about the map stuff. I'm talking about the Pokemon Go of it all. Why is it in this style? It really feels like somebody at Square's offices is still shouting about how they need their Pokemon Go success story, 6 years later. But then the development started during a global pandemic, so there, some concessions had to be made. Did this start as just like a straightforward internal mandate of, hey, we need to develop a Pokemon Go-like, and it got turned into a 3D action game along the way? Or did this start as somebody wanted to make a 3D action game for phones, and then Pokemon Go got stapled onto it? Missing Link just seems to me a little unusually overlate buzzword-addled for a Kingdom Hearts game. Not necessarily for a Square Enix game, but for a Kingdom Hearts game at least, this seems off-brand. This seems unusually dishonest. Why not just make a 3D procedurally generated action game for phones? Why does it have to have Pokemon Go elements that you can engage with by going outside, or you can play at home with your GPS turned on, but you can't play it at home with your GPS turned off and just procedurally generated maps appear? Why is it designed like this? Part of the appeal of Pokemon Go's design was that it fits really easily into the activity of walking around. You can be like, oh, wow, sweet, Bulbasaur, whatever, boom, done, back to what I was doing. I don't see how this game is going to fit comfortably into anybody's daily walkabout insert major metropolitan area here. It's like, oh, hold on a second, gang. I gotta stop and get Stitch real quick. Just let me play these 90 seconds of 3D Kingdom Hearts combat, and I'll be right back with you. Yeah. Now, hold on a second. I'm almost done. I'm gonna use the Snow White statue, and that makes it go a lot faster. Yeah, I know I'm getting excessively hung up on this, but I guess my point is that while Missing Link is still obviously not designed to meaningfully expand the brand and attract new users, it is also simultaneously not nearly as immediately transparently shallow as Union Cross was, because Union Cross was never even pretending to be a game designed to bring new people into the Kingdom Hearts fan base. It was ever and always explicitly a game about, sure, if a lot of people play it, it's neat to have X number of million downloads or whatever, but the point is to have, a couple thousand really, really invested users who already have a really high level of brand loyalty and easy access to their mom's credit card. I guess Dark Road was a mulligan, because that game wasn't even monetized, right? My confusion with Missing Link is that it just seems like an unusually expensive, experimental, and ambitious project for whale bait. Maybe I'm overestimating it, there's been a beta, but I haven't played it, so, maybe I'm wrong about its scale and its ambition and the amount of money that it costs to maintain. But, it seems like the sort of thing which should, in theory, be building the brand, not just extracting money out of people who are already bought in. I brought up the Pokemon Go stuff because the reason everybody wanted to replicate its success wasn't just because it was an app that made money. It was because every delusional money man in an entertainment boardroom looked at the skyrocketing brand awareness of Pokemon in the summer of 2016 and incorrectly thought, this could be us, instead of realizing it was the IP that attracted users to Pokemon Go in the first place, not Go's inherent format. Pokemon is one of the most popular things on the face of the planet, and it's your fault that you didn't notice that until 2016. Missing Link is a game that is struggling to sell itself to anybody who's not bought in with stuff like brand new experiences and encounters. It doesn't know what's fun about itself beyond it's fun to hang out in Kingdom Hearts land, right? But the Pokemon Go elements make me think that someone somewhere internally must see this game as a big brand building opportunity. And at least in theory, the Union Cross Missing Link, way in the past era stuff should be serving as a brand building entry point opportunity, because this should be a point where we can attract new people in. You don't have to know anything about Sora or Kairi or anybody else. You don't need to know who or what a Xehanort is to be able to play these games in theory. I think that in practice, I mean, I can't judge the narrative qualities of Missing Link, obviously. Again, we're here speculating about something that doesn't really exist yet. But at least with Union Cross, like, I really can't imagine somebody just deciding, I'm going to try out this game with Mickey Mouse in the icon and then never see Mickey Mouse. And what's happening? This isn't a very good story. Look, maybe I'm wrong about how many new people are or are not going to buy into Missing Link or did buy into Union Cross. Maybe I'm just straight up wrong, but in my estimation, I remember in ye olden days seeing the box art for Chain of Memories and going, what is that? That looks weird and interesting. I remember seeing magazine spreads about the other Kingdom Hearts games and going, what is this? This looks weird and interesting. I just don't know how many new young fans you're going to attract as they're sitting there playing on their parents' iPads because Union Cross has Mickey Mouse in the app startup icon. I don't think you're going to get new people through this stuff, and I'm not sure you will through Missing Link either, because as a wise woman once said, kids don't want that piece of shit. They're all into Fortnite, dude. And even if people are attracted to these mobile phone games, I'm not really sure that they're a clear pipeline to the main content, to the main console experiences. You know, something like Melody of Memory, to me, just seems like a real missed opportunity to not tell some kind of new self-contained story that could get somebody into the series instead of just being Melody of Memory is maybe an unfair example because obviously that was a relatively simple rhythm game. It's for people who are bought in. I get that. So I'm not trying to pick on Melody of Memory specifically, but I'm just saying that is an example of something where, like, I was helping somebody try to find video games for their kids recently. And I was like, surely there are some Disney princess games on the Nintendo Switch because Disney used to crank out all kinds of crap in the old days. Now, as it turns out, Disney's actually gotten a lot better about not cranking out crap in recent years because they realized that cranking out crap was kind of damaging their brand, among other reasons. So there have actually been a much higher level of quality across the board for Disney brand video games in recent years, but there have also been fewer of them. When I Googled, like, Disney Princess game Nintendo Switch, I saw Kairi on the cover of Melody of Memory before I saw Jasmine, okay? Do you understand the missed opportunity that I'm talking about there? I'm not so much upset as, like, a fan of the series. I mean, I guess that too, obviously, I would have preferred if Kairi had been in a more interesting game than Melody of Memory, but think about the potential confused grandma purchases that the series is missing out on here. Like, let's pretend that Melody of Memory actually had a self-contained story about, I don't know, Kairi navigating the dream realm, and she's helped by the spirits of the other princesses of heart along the way or something. Like, it could still be a rhythm game. It could still be relatively cheaply made. In fact, you keep it a rhythm game, you add in other songs from Disney princess movies that you don't keep it strictly, adhering to the Disney princess songs that are featured in Kingdom Hearts 3, right? That's a game that can be marketed to a parent wanting to buy something Disney-y and princess-y for their kid. By the time that they actually put the game in their Switch and start it up, it's too late, though, because that kid will see the trippy opening with the Udada music and have their brain chemicals permanently altered like so many before them. Bada bing, bada bip, you're a Kingdom Hearts simp. My point is, there is a built-in opportunity here for a kid to just get an exciting new Disney action-adventure game that is a self-contained story that also happens to be a pipeline into all this other stuff. It's about some new kid off in some new corner of the galaxy going on some kind of Disney adventure, and hey, there's some kind of, hey, Sora's over there doing that thing. Who's Sora, the kid asks. Well, find out when you go play the other games that you're not going to play on your Nintendo Switch because of reasons that we've discussed previously. But don't worry about that part. You're missing something by having the inability to have a kid go, oh, what's this really cool looking box art or this cool ad for a cool looking character who's running around and having adventures, and not having them buy it and go, who are all of these people? What are they all talking about? Why is there no Gummy Ship spinoff? I know that may sound silly, but why is there no dedicated Gummy Ship spinoff? Consider just for a moment with me, there are no Star Fox games anymore. The kind of stuff doesn't get made anymore. Kids love spaceships. They love flying around and blast and stuff. Imagine a game that was designed to actually have, instead of just being a side mini game that, some subset of the team made, imagine a dedicated, really well done space shooter like Star Fox, right? Except you can build your own ship, and the system for doing it is even more robust than Kingdom Hearts 3's. And your wingmen are like, I don't know, Stitch, Donald Duck, and Goofy obviously would be there somehow. Who are some other cool Disney characters who are in space? Throw in Star Wars crap. Why not, right? Luke Skywalker is there. Freaking the Guardians of the Galaxy are there, right? Who cares? We can throw that stuff in there as well. Your wingmen are, your Star Fox, team of talking heads are Stitch and Star-Lord. Throw Jim Hawkins on his Solar Surfer in there, even though I'm one of 4 people alive today who cares about Treasure Planet. I understand it's a big ask to make video games. I understand it's difficult. I understand it takes a lot of time. But that's precisely why I think it might be valuable to make some smaller, simpler products that don't need to be end-all, be-all, 40 to 50-hour grand-scale RPGs like, the big console releases for Kingdom Hearts now are and likely will be into the future. I understand that there are only so many teams internally at Square making stuff, and Tetsuya Nomura seems to want to maintain complete authorial control over everything going on in the series, so asking him to go and write additional stuff isn't the easiest thing in the world. And my interest in this is a little bit as a fan. It's neat to go and see different pockets of this dimension and interact with new characters and have the opportunity to have a self-contained little story that begins and ends in one game, and you go, that was pleasant, instead of, playing a game that released on the Nintendo 3DS for $40 and going, did I just pay for a commercial? But aside from my interest as a fan, I have to think there's some business value. Kingdom Hearts 3 sold really well, but I think to some extent, that was off the back of it being a meme. That was off the back of a lot of people who are lapsed gamers who probably haven't touched the series since Kingdom Hearts 2 going, oh man, I loved that when I was a teenager. I'll definitely check this one out, and going ahead and getting it. I'm legitimately curious how many copies of Kingdom Hearts 3 sit not only unfinished, but perhaps even unopened. That is perhaps an overly cynical reading, but it's something that I can't help but wonder. And I just don't know that KH4 is going to be able to outsell Kingdom Hearts 3. And as someone who does like these games and wants to see them get better, declining sales figures generally lead to lower budgets and less creative freedom. I suppose I'm just a little annoyed that these mobile phone games aren't serving as a better, more interesting potential, onboarding point of, hey, this is a cool series, come check it out. All of the things that are cool about the series are contained here. They're just kind of not really doing that. But I'm not sure that it matters that much because, they're on phones anyway. I'm just saying, if Tetsuya Nomura can find the time, or maybe if he can just find it within himself to ease off of his total control and maybe let somebody else over at Square take a crack at writing one of these games, I don't think it would be a bad idea to take another swing at this universe from another angle. I think it could be a worthy investment. And perhaps that's what Verum Rex will be. Perhaps I'm overestimating how much the Versus 13 influences will infiltrate Tetsuya Nomura's hypothetical dedicated Verum Rex spinoff. Perhaps it will be a great representation of the series, and it'll entwine so thoroughly with the narrative of Kingdom Hearts 4 and 5 that it'll just, oh man, people will go, oh, this is a neat thing, and they'll be so thrilled by it that they'll go, boy, I thought I didn't like Kingdom Hearts, but I guess I gotta go play 4 and 5 now. I don't know what's gonna happen, but these are just things that I think about, because I spend too much time thinking. But anyway, thank you for joining me and thinking with me. Perhaps I'll be back overthinking something else in the near future. And I'm usually overthinking something over on our second channel, Research Runs, where we do overly detailed, meticulous, slow playthroughs of video games. We're currently playing through the Final Fantasy VII Remake, but be it over there on our video game Let's Play channel, which you should go and check out, or be it right here for more videos like whatever this was. I'll see you again next time.